my advice to people who want to come here to do that kind of work is to consult people who have the experience, solicitors who know what they are doing. And as you will know, a lot of people too say that they are lawyers. They are not actually solicitors. There's a difference between solicitors and people who call themselves immigration practitioners. A lot of people flaunt as immigration practitioners. They're not actually solicitors.
Yeah, welcome, Lawyer Billy Dada and Pastor Logun. Thank you for accepting my invitation. We will start our program now. First of all, I would like Lawyer Billy Dada to introduce himself.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Dele Dada. I'm a solicitor and I currently work with Anthony Ogunfebo and Co. as an independent solicitor.
Thank you very much. Pastor Ologun, please introduce yourself, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stephen Ologun, a full-time pastor, Nigerian by birth, based in London, United Kingdom.
Thank you very much. Anyway, I'm Jim Dabosa, the host for tonight's program. We've done the introduction now. We will discuss about the immigration issue in the United Kingdom and about the COS. As we may know, if you check social media today, a lot of our people, especially Nigerians, the way they were passing the information concerning UK immigration or COS to our people, go to Instagram or TikTok. Some are saying different things, and that's the reason why that I decided to invite one of the qualified lawyer in United Kingdom that can shed light, to this issue of immigration problem in United Kingdom. Because if you could remember now, a lot of our people that just came yesterday. When I mean yesterday, those came to United Kingdom last year, 2 years ago. You see them now, going to a Home Office website, type it, blah blah blah, and they just been on a TikTok or Instagram, and without this immigration problem, there's a lot of people that fall a victim on this issue. Why some of these our people sold their lands, their properties in order to come to United Kingdom. So I would like Billy Dada, because you're a solicitor, and then I want you to shed more light to this issue of immigration problems in United Kingdom and COS.
If I understand you with what you mean by COS, I believe that you are relating this matter to those that come to the UK to work in the care field, although COS means certificate of sponsorship. So what that really means is that if you have a certificate of sponsorship from any employer, you can come to work in the UK. So, but most of our people that I believe you are referring to is those people that come to do care work. And so the little that I will say about care work is that the British government have revolutionized the way they want to deal with care work in 2024. So there have been some changes to care work now, to the effect that before you can be allowed to work in care, the person that is providing the certificate of sponsorship will actually be regulated. So what I'm trying to say now is that most care firms are now regulated, and it's becoming a bit more difficult to get an authentic care work provider who can give you the opportunity to do that work. So I'm going by what you said earlier too, that people sell their land and all that. There's absolutely no reason to bribe a care provider, because if you are bribing a care provider that cannot actually give you what you want, you are going to get yourself into a big mess. So my advice to people who want to come here to do that kind of work is to consult people who have the experience, solicitors who know what they are doing. And as you will know, a lot of people too say that they are lawyers. They are not actually solicitors. There's a difference between solicitors and people who call themselves immigration practitioners. A lot of people flaunt as immigration practitioners. They're not actually solicitors who actually understand what the immigration rule says. So what I'm saying, in essence, is that people should make sure that before they say that they have an opportunity to come to the UK to do care work, they obtain proper legal advice from qualified people. Thank you.
Back to you, Lawyer Dede Dada. I watched one of your presentation on the Windcross compensation scheme, whereby you are giving advice to one of Nigerian that his father is one of of this victim of this Windcross compensation scheme. His name is Saliu Idris. Concerning his immigration issue in United Kingdom, and then you may mention that being that his father has moved from United Kingdom, or his parents has moved from United Kingdom back to Nigeria, that he has lost his immigration status there. So in this area, is there any way or any means somebody like him can get his paper back, because his father or his parents, and he was not born in United Kingdom, but all other his siblings, they were all born in United Kingdom except him? Is there any way that this kind of person or people can secure his stay in the kingdom?
Well, you related your comments to Windrush. Individual circumstances are treated in relation to the facts provided. But what I will say is that for anybody to have the starting point for Windrush would be that this individual that you are talking about, his parents came to the UK before 1973 and settled here. Or if that person is not a Nigerian, if anybody came from anywhere before 1988 and remained here and still continues to remain here, or returned to their country unaware that they had rights to remain on an indefinite basis. Because that's the key thing. What the Windrush is trying to do is to ensure that all the people, and for the sake of dealing with this in the round, people that came to the UK before 1988 and have stayed here since then, they have a right to contact the Home Office, explain to the Home Office that they believe they meet the requirements of Windrush. And I must say that these requirements equally extend to children. But remember what I said earlier, every case is dealt with on its individual merit. So no two cases are similar. So that's what I will say as far as Windrush is concerned.
Okay, thank you. Back to Pastor Ologun. That, with the attitude of our people concerning this COS, there was an incident that happened on the, I think maybe on the 8th of April, then there was an issue between this guy, Freddie Darkman, and Daddy Freeze, whereby some set of Nigerians that's, based in UK, being a victim of this kind of COS. But to my surprise, I saw this guy, Daddy Freeze, instead of him, to do the right thing. What are the right thing to do? To explain it thoroughly and figure it out. If it's, in a way of apologize at the beginning of it, it should be to apologize. But this guy now came to social media, ratting and shouting that he will make sure that he come to United Kingdom and talk to the UK government that the Nigerian here with the issue of COS, he will make sure that they all deported back to Nigeria now. This guy is not a Nigerian president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's not the second citizen of Nigerian president, that's Shettima. Even though he's not the third citizen of Nigeria, which is Senator Akpabio. For him to be coming on social media and be, bragging that, okay, he can do and undo on this US, that I will make sure that you back to Nigeria, with all this issue, whatever something there. Although at later day, he came back to the social media to apologize for what he said, on this TikTok or Instagram. So, Pastor Logun, with this kind of people coming to social media and be bragging, so what lesson that the Freeze, what lesson is he passing to the to the rest of to the Nigerians?
Thank you. Well, to answer your question, I don't really go deep into the detail of what happened between Daddy Freeze or the other man, black man or whatever his name is. I'm sorry, a very dark man. Yes, but one thing I can say is this: this COS, certificate of sponsorship, is a good thing. It is a good opportunity for people to travel to UK. This is something that was UK government idea. It isn't the idea of Daddy Freeze or anybody in Africa. It is an invention, let me put it that way, of UK government. Now, the COS has two things attached to it. One of it is the power of information and the dangers of desperation. I will explain these two things. The power of information in the sense that if you get the right information from the right source, you can put in your application. And I always advise people, if you want to go into any business, please don't be carried away by what you hear. Go and seek professional advice. Any unprofessional advice can lead any individual into spending unnecessarily. And at the end of the day, he or she will still have himself to blame. That is why I say the dangers of desperation. People are too desperate to come to UK. And for that reason, they get carried away with unprofessional information they receive. And when they, at the end of the day, fall victim, they will be looking for where to, who to blame or where to deposit the blame for their wrong decision. So if there is anybody that want to come to UK with this so-called COS, that is why we have solicitors. That is why we have professional people that can sit you down, take you through the step-by-step procedure of making your application, just like lawyer Dele Dada said. There are procedures you should follow. If you follow the right procedure, you don't necessarily have to sell your property. You don't necessarily have to bribe anybody. You don't necessarily have to fall into a situation where somebody will threaten your life with deportation. It is not the idea of any man in Nigeria, except you have skeleton in your cupboard, regarding your application. That is where someone can wake up and threaten your life with deportation. But where everything go properly, I don't think anybody is powerful enough to say, I can get you deported. Because in the first place, they don't get you into the level where you are. It was a British government idea. It was the British government that brought you here, and they are the only one that has the power to send you back if need be. So it is not something somebody can do.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me throw this question to you now. Does it make sense if anybody should not back to all this social media now? Maybe last year I listened to one of these actress, Opeyemi Ayeola. She was advising people on TikTok or Instagram. She said that it doesn't mind if anybody spend 80 million to 800 million naira for Japa. That anybody wanted to go, you should spend that money. If anybody have that 80 million naira or 800 million naira for Japa, they should use it there. Now, this is a kind of message, wrong informations, this kind of people passing to the people that creating kidnapping in Nigeria, that creating armed robbery in Nigeria, also, creating money rituals in Nigeria. Now, with this kind of people now, set of people now, coming to social media and be saying rubbish. Now, does it make sense for people to come to social media and be saying it? Lawyer Dele?
Well, simply put, Pastor has actually dealt with what you raised now. These kind of people who actually take that kind of advice where they are saying, oh, for you to come to the UK at all, you need to spend 80 million. That means that desire is born of desperation. And Pastor dealt with that very, very adequately by saying that as long as you are not desperate, as long as your papers are properly put into the entry clearance officer, when I say properly put in, you don't have any skeleton to hide. You've obtained proper legal advice. There's every likelihood that you are going to be successful with your application. And where you are not successful and the entry clearance officer got it wrong, then you will have an opportunity to revisit that application again, because the application was refused not as a result of your desperation, but because the person looking at it made a mistake. But you won't have the confidence to go back in any event if your papers were not put in the way they should have been put in, and the papers that you put in are not adequate to obtain the leave that you seek. So I don't think we really need to add more to what Pastor said. I'm just clarifying what Pastor said further. And I like the way he said, if you are not desperate, you are fine. And a lot of the problems arise as a result of the desperation that Pastor referred to.
Thank you. Now, Pastor Logun, now, what can you talk about our woman behaviors in diaspora? If you look at the way our behaviors in diaspora, it's another thing that we need to look to, because I will give one or two theories of Watson and Skinner that I want you guys to notice. Or one of the theories says that a theory of learning based on the idea that all behaviors are acquired through conditioning. If you understand, underline that conditioning now. Now, before everybody, any one of us, before we decided, to leave Nigeria now, the conditioning that we have is Nigerian. That, okay, I'm living Nigerian, I'm a Nigerian citizen, I'm traveling abroad. So now when we come to either UK or America or anywhere or Canada, we discover that we did not follow or remember that conditioning. That conditioning is what? It's Nigerian. At later day, we started painting Nigerian, bad name, and etc. Now, Pastor Loguna, I want you to look to it carefully now. Our woman behavior, which is, psychology, cycle. So what can you say or talk about this, our woman behavior, which is cycle?
Thank you. There's a saying in my place. I will try to translate it. Bí a ṣe ń ṣe níbí, èèwọ̀ ibòmíì. Simply put, the way of life in my city is a taboo in another land. Now, we're coming from Africa. We have our own ways of life. We have our norm. We have our social social way of life, social behavior. We have our do's and don'ts. So there are so many things we do in Nigeria which is necessarily not wrong, or some of it may even be wrong, but we are not chastised. So bringing such thing, when you are coming to a system, what I will advise anybody going into a system is some of the things you take for granted in your land, try as much as possible to study the culture of the new place you are going into, study their way of life, study their law, study their do's and don'ts. If possible, pay a qualified solicitor. Let him take you through some of the basic things that can quickly get you into trouble. So when you know all these things, I'm not just advertising the business of solicitors, but their importance can never be overemphasized when it comes to your safety when going to another man's land. I give an example to you. I read about it. I don't know how far it is true, but I want to believe there are some element of truth in it, or we can use it as a case study of a young man who came to UK and he saw squirrel running up and down at his backyard. So what did he do? He simply put his hunting skill into use by smartly killing one of the squirrel, so to say. Prepare a delicious egusi soup. And while he was about to start eating, I mean, from the story we had, I wasn't there. While he was about to start eating, he had a knock on the door. Then I thought, oh, this is just, maybe it's my neighbor. Let me invite him and come on, join me on the table. I said, the reason why we came is because of the aroma of your food. Now, by the way, tell us, where do you get this meat? So he could not explain. So to cut the story short, they find out that he killed a squirrel. Now, killing squirrel in the land where we are coming from is normal. But doing such thing in UK is a criminal offense. So it is something you can pay for dearly. So study the land very well. Don't just pick your bag and come here. Learn about the things that you can do, the things that the areas where you have to play safe. For example, if I find myself in the city of Lagos, if I'm pressed, I can unzip my trouser and pee anywhere. If you do that here in UK, it may look so minor, but it can get you into a big trouble. In Africa, someone can send you a pornographic image of anything. You just open it and be making fun of it. If you do that in your place of work here, especially when it concerns minor, you can get into a bigger trouble, and so on and so forth. So the list is endless. It is not everything that is normal in Africa, or it is not everything you do in Africa that can be considered normal when you get to UK. So study the do's and don'ts of the land, study their norm, study their culture, study their law, study their way of land before you come in here. That is one of the best way you can play safe.
Thank you, Pastor Ologun. Back to Lawyer Dele Dada. On our woman interaction, we say, sociology. Let me read one of the theory for you of Max Weber and George Herbert Mead. It says that individuals learn about society through interactions with other people, and that society as a whole is created by multitude of individual interactions. Why? That's I'm particularly, based my case study on diaspora. What can you talk about our woman interactions in diaspora? Our, sociology, especially among ourselves, or within ourselves, and then, with other nationalities in diaspora. So whenever we do, some people will say that Nigeria this, Nigeria that, those are the issues that some of the other nationalities are painting Nigeria. That okay, we Nigerian, we are good, we are bad. Nigeria is this and that. So what can you talk about our woman interactions, our interaction, our sociology, with other nationality in diaspora?
Well, from my own experience of Nigerians, I would say generally, and it's better to use the word generally because individual people have a different way of going about things. But I would say generally, the Nigerian is a friendly person, generally, like I said. And you did say that some other nationalities seem to have a different story to paint about Nigerians. I think one of the reasons why other nationalities have a lot to say about Nigerians is that, again, I say generally, as a group of people, we are loud. We are in the forefront of everything that we do. I think that shows in terms of what we've achieved all over the world. You will see if you go to America, they will tell you that Nigerians do very well in their educational pursuits. Not only do they do very well in their educational pursuits, they also do well in their professional pursuits. So it's the same in the UK. Nigerians are seen to be in the forefront of everything that they do. But some other people can interpret that negatively to see us as, like I said earlier, a very loud group of people. As a matter of fact, some other African nationalities have confessed to me that they struggle to have a relationship with Nigerians because we are always out there, as they put it. But that's just our nature. Nigerians are generally fun-loving people, and you will find that in any circle that they decide to become a part of, they stand out, if I can use that word. And so, depending on how you see that, some people see that negatively, while some people say they love Nigerians because they interact freely. So it depends on how you want to see it.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I won't take your time. Now, before we go now, I want us to talk on one or two things before we go. On this bloggers in Nigeria, which is a big issue for everybody, either diaspora or in Nigerian as well now. We see that either from Ireland, Canada, United Kingdom, or Germany. If we are in a civilized country in UK, you can't see, any blogger just come out and be insulting the Prime Minister, or any blogger coming out to be insulting Biden, the President of America. If an MP here, you can't insult any MP. You know that okay, you'll be tracked down by the police. But why where the Nigerian government is being slow to cap on all these bloggers, in order to give law for them, for anybody that's coming to social media or these bloggers with untrue story by anybody or president or anybody in Nigeria telling them on true story. Why not Nigerian government take action on all those bloggers? Pastor Logun.
Okay, thank you. Like the saying of the wise, where there are no law, then there is no sin. So the reason why sin will be termed as sin is because someone must have crossed the red line. Someone must have broken the law. Now, in a place where there is unlimited freedom of speech, so you don't blame someone for not understanding his or her moral level when exercising his or her freedom of speech. Now, if the government put it in place that this is how far you can go, the moment you go beyond that level, you are already crossing red line. Then, of course, you will be called to order. The reason why you just cannot blog in such way here or in Western world is because every citizen and everyone living in their land is made to respect the authority, because that is the final institution that will checkmate everybody's behavior. Now, if our own authority is so liberal, let me put it that way, if they are so comfortable with anyone coming on the social media or anywhere to exercise their freedom of worship, freedom of speech, to cross the so-called red line and do whatever they like, then it is the system and not the people. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. People behave. Irrational people behave irrationally. So something has to be in place to say, this is how far you can go. If you go beyond this level, this will be the consequences. So if the government can do their best to put that in place in Nigeria, lo and behold, people will shout, people will make noise. Oh, they're taking our freedom away, they're taking our right away. But at the end of the day, it is going to be good for everybody. For example, today now, a new law came out in UK. If you blog another man's anything at all, or not anything that has to do with the privacy of a third party without their permission, you pay for it dearly. I don't know what the law is, but I know that anyone who do that now in UK will pay for it dearly. And it means dearly because they will know the source of that information. And the moment you are traced to be the one that is invading another person's privacy, then there is a law in place to handle the individual. But in Nigeria, where such thing, where that freedom goes when we have this unlimited freedom, who do you blame for breaking the law that is not put in place? So this is my take.
Thank you, Pastor Logun. I will back. This question now. I will ask you again. Now, concerning this bloggers or no bloggers, there's a lady is living here. Tolani Oreniyi. Now, I will use Mohbad case as a case study. Now, this kind of people comment on social media for their own self-interest, now bombarding all this social media with fake news concerning the Mohbad's family. Now, do you think that the Nigeria government supposed to step in and stop all these kind of bloggers like Tolani Oreniyi and some other blogger in Ireland, in UK, in Nigeria, to the extent that some of these actresses, or actress, has misled Nigerians on the beginning of this case of Mohbad case? Do you think that Do you think that the Nigerian government supposed to come in now and stop all this nonsense?
Yeah, well, blogging is a business, just like journalism, just like any other thing. And whoever carries the best news gets the best attention. And the more attention you get means the better your business or the more you sell. So if these people are doing it, not necessarily, it is not every blogging that has to be, it is not everything we hear from bloggers. It is not everything we read on the social media that is actually the truth. But most of the things we read draws attention, whether it is true or not. And the more they draw attention, the more they sell. So that is the power behind blogging. They are doing it to make money. So at the end of the day, whether what they are doing is right or it is not right, whether it is true or it is false, it is a different thing entirely. Now, like you said, if the government failed to step in and say, well, for every information you carry or for every of your blogging, we will get to the bottom of it. If we find any falsehood in the information you shared on the social media, you will be made to pay for it dearly. I believe people will be more careful to share an information that is not true. Or if at all, before they share any information, they will get to the bottom of it to make sure that what they are saying, I'm not just blogging to make money, but I'm blogging to share the right information so that I don't mislead the members of the public. So the whole responsibility, in my opinion, goes back to the government. Let the government do something that will help everybody, including the bloggers themselves. How embarrassing will it be if I say something to you today and tomorrow you find out that what I have just said is not true? I will be embarrassed myself, and you will be you will have been misled. Maybe you have taken an action that is wrong, which will later lead to regret. So the government should do something about blogging to make sure that members of society are reading information that is correct. This is what will save everybody.
Thank you. Lawyer Dele Dada, before we go now, I want your contribution on this bloggers now. You know, I want your idea, you know, what advice can you give as a lawyer, a solicitor, and British Nigerian? You have a voice in Nigerian as well. So now, what advice can you give to Nigerian government on this area of blogging?
I don't waste anybody's time. Pastor Ologun has spelled it out succinctly, 100% correct in everything that he said. If there were laws to guide blogging in Nigeria, people would think twice before they overstep their bounds. But unfortunately, in Nigeria, a lot of the time, we make the laws as we go along. So until something seriously happens, the government will not pay any heed to what is going on. Right now, it's open season with bloggers, and they can do as they like and say whatever they like. That's the position. And like Pastor Logan said, the government needs to revisit that aspect of social media per se.
Thank you very much. We reached the end of the program. Once again, I thank Pastor Logan and Lawyer Dele Dada for honoring my invitations. May next time I will get in touch with you for another episode. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.